नमस्कार मित्रों, अखिल भारतीय अधिवक्ता परिषद welcomes you to the live broadcast of Dattopant Thengdi lecture series. Broadcast is live streamed on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter accounts of Akhil Bharatiya Adhivakta Parishad. It is a matter of great pride for Adhivakta Parishad that since the launch of Dattopant Thengdi lecture series, our subscribers on YouTube has increased from 1200 to 6300 plus. More and more viewers are joining in and watching our live stream. In continuation of our eminent guest from legal fraternity, today we are joined by Ms. Pinky Anand, Senior Advocate. Ms. Anand is an alumni of reputed Harvard Law School. She is a Senior Advocate and Additional Solicitor General of India. Today, she will be delivering lecture on misuse of public interest litigation. And the end of her lecture, she will be taking questions posted by our viewers. On this note, we start today's lecture. I would now request Ms. Anand to commence her address. Ma'am, please.
नमस्कार मुकुल जी। अधिवक्ता परिषद के साथ ये लेक्चर सीरीज में होने का मुझे बहुत शौक है और बहुत खुश हूँ कि ये सीरीज में आप लोगों ने ये सिचुएशन शुरू करी। कोविड-19 के समय में कितनी मुश्किलात सामने आती हैं, उस मुश्किलात में किस प्रकार से हम अपने आप को एक्टिव रख सकते हैं, किस प्रकार से हम एजुकेशन की तरफ जा सकते हैं, किस प्रकार हम नॉलेज की तरफ जा सकते हैं, किस प्रकार हम सीख सकते हैं, किस प्रकार हम सिखा सकते हैं, ये सब चीज़ें बहुत महत्वपूर्ण हैं। तो ये दत्तोपंत थेंगागड़ी जो लेक्चर सीरीज़ है, इसमें बहुत खुशी हुई कि मैं पार्टिसिपेट कर सकूँ। लेक्चर सीरीज़ में आज का जो विषय चुना है वो मिसयूज़ ऑफ पब्लिक इंटरेस्ट लिटिगेशन के ऊपर है। आज के समय में ये बहुत महत्वपूर्ण सब्जेक्ट है। वैसे कुछ समय से रहा है, हम कब से इस इशू को देखते आए हैं और समय समय पर ये बातें जैसे होती हैं, पहले तो एक शुरुआत हुई और उसके बाद किस प्रकार से समय बदला और मिसयूज़ का समय आ गया। कानून में रहता है, जो चीज़ उपयोग होती है वो दुरुपयोग भी होती है, लेकिन आज का समय एक खास महत्वपूर्ण समय है, एक बहुत चिंता का विषय है। कोविड-19 का समय है, इसलिए और महत्वपूर्ण हो गया है कि हम सारे विषयों को देखते हुए किस प्रकार से पब्लिक इंटरेस्ट लिटिगेशन शुरू हुआ, किस तरीके से इवॉल्व हुआ और किस तरीके से उसके दुरुपयोग की जो डायरेक्शन में गया है। एक उदाहरण के तौर पर मैं आपको बताऊंगी, 1995 में करीबन 20,000 चिट्ठियाँ पीआईएल के तौर पर आती थी और 2017-18 में जो फिगर्स अभी आगे हैं हमारे पास, उसमें करीबन 60,000 चिट्ठियाँ पीआईएल के तौर पे आती हैं और इसके और कुछ बहुत ज़्यादा फिगर्स नहीं अवेलेबल हैं, लेकिन ये फिगर्स इंडिकेट करती हैं कि किस प्रकार से सब विषयों को लेकर इंसान आगे बढ़ते जा रहे हैं और कैसे ये विषय कोर्ट का समय ले रहे हैं, कैसे ये सब सिचुएशंस हमारे सामने हैं। इस स्थिति में मैं आई वुड लाइक टू बेसिकली स्टार्ट ऑन माय सब्जेक्ट। बेसिकली I think that no human system is perfect and a system is only as good as the people called upon to run it. ये equally true है PIL के बारे में, which has been rendered meaningless by elements seeking every other interest but public interest. It was basically devised, the public interest system, to ameliorate the miseries of poor, जो वंचित लोग हैं, जो गरीब लोग हैं, जो disadvantaged लोग हैं, and to allow greater access to justice, न्याय की तरफ, to give voice to the invisible, जो दिख नहीं सकते, जो लोग वंचित हैं, and to strengthen the justice delivery system. However, जैसे proverbial भस्मासुर PIL सिस्टम में एक existential threat बन चुका है, उसी इंस्टीट्यूशन के लिए जिसने इसको क्रिएट किया था, ये उसी को खाने के जो तरफ जा रहा है, उसको हम आज एड्रेस करने के समय में हैं। In times of COVID-19 एक even bigger challenge है। The global mood is bleak, सारे ग्लोब में सब तरफ मिजरीज हो रही हैं। In times of disaster there needs to be an even greater check on PILs. The nation is grappling with criticalities against odds of calamity. एक calamity है पूरे देश में, पूरे विश्व में। Challenges are gigantic. बहुत बड़ी challenges हमारे सामने हैं। We can't afford to burden an overburdened system. The government and civil society are moving heaven and earth to find answers, address the concerns of lakhs of people, evolve policies to counter an unknown enemy. We need all hands to save the ship. We cannot afford misguided, malafide PILs. अगर हम इसकी शुरुआत में जाते हैं तो let us come there. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Martin Luther King Jr. प्रोफेसर उपेंद्र बख्शी ने अपने पेपर जो 1985 में लिखा था, उसमें कहा The Supreme Court of India is at long last becoming, after 32 years of the Republic, the Supreme Court for Indians. For too long, the apex constitutional court had become an arena of legal quibbling for men with long purses. Now, increasingly, the court is being identified by justices as well as people as the last resort for the oppressed and the bewildered. The transition from a traditional captive agency with a low social visibility into a liberated center agency with a high socio-political visibility is a remarkable development in the career of the Indian appellate judiciary. इस फॉर्मिडेबल वेपन ऑफ पीआईएल को लेकर जो टीमिंग मिलियन है हमारे देश में अब अवेयर है कि कोर्ट के पास इनहेरेंट पावर्स ऑफ इंटरवेंशन है which can be used and invoked to ameliorate their miseries arising from repression, governmental lawlessness, and administrative deviance. In which situations have we used this? For under trials, for convicted prisoners, for women in protective custody, children in juvenile institutions, bonded and migrant laborers, unorganized laborers, untouchables, scheduled tribes, landless agricultural laborers who fell prey to faulty mechanization, women who are bought and sold, slum dwellers, pavement dwellers, kins of victims of extrajudicial executions. These and many more groups now flock to the Supreme Court seeking justice. This concept of public interest litigation owes much to the American innovation of the dictum public interest litigation law, whose basic thrust is to ensure that citizens whose lives may be affected by governmental policies have a right to participate in the formulation of those policies. Courts and administrative agencies that implement or enforce policies should be open and accessible to the views of those citizens who may be affected by such actions and dictums. In India, the concept of PIL originated in PUDR versus Delhi government in Asiad labor case. During the construction boom in Delhi before the Asian Games in 1982, migrant laborers from various parts of the country were brought to Delhi by the private contractors who did not pay their basic wages, and they were made to live in the streets of Delhi. PUDR filed a petition for their statutory wages. Subsequently, the court made the administration responsible to enforce the minimum wages regulation, even in case of private contractors' labor employment. I think this marks the starting point of public interest litigation in the country. The credit for introducing public interest litigation and making the court accessible to the unrecognized, illiterate, poor, and more than that, have-nots goes to a few activist judges, notably Justice V.R. Krishna Iyer and Justice P.N. Bhagwati of the Supreme Court. They not only broadened the rules of locus standi from traditional individualism to community orientation of public interest litigation, but also relaxed the formalities of judicial process. I may quote Justice P.N. Bhagwati, to whom we owe the inception of PILs. PIL is a strategic arm of the legal aid movement and aims at bringing justice within the reach of the poor, vulnerable masses and helpless victims of injustice. Justice Bhagwati gave the concept a comprehensive exposition in S.P. Gupta in 1982. Let me read out what he has written and held in his judgment. Where a legal wrong or a legal injury is caused to a person or to a determinate class of person by reason of violation of any constitutional or legal right, or any burden is imposed in contravention of any constitutional or legal provision, or without authority of law, or any such legal wrong or legal injury or illegal burden is threatened, and such person or determinate class of persons is by reason of poverty, helplessness, or disability, or socially or economically disadvantaged position, unable to approach the court for relief. So you have 5 criteria which were basically set out in S.P. Gupta's case by Justice Bhagwati. So any of these 5 categories, unable to approach the court for relief, any member of the public can maintain an application for appropriate direction, order, or writ in the High Court under Article 226, and in case of breach of any fundamental right of such person or determinate class of persons, in this court under Article 32 seeking judicial redress for the legal wrong or injury caused to such person or determinate class of persons. Then in Bandhua Mukti Morcha, Justice Bhagwati again, when his attention was drawn by means of a letter to the court regarding the legal injury, put down certain procedures and in fact, held certain principles and contours of PIL and defined it in the following words, possibly. It would comprehend any legal wrong or injury or illegal burden caused or threatened. The subject may be either a person or a determinate class of persons who, by reason again the same, poverty, helplessness, or disability, or socially or economically disadvantaged position, cannot themselves claim relief before the courts. Any member of the public, so it is not limited to the person, individual, but any member of the public can maintain an application for appropriate direction, etc., on behalf of such a person or class of persons. I may just discuss this with you very briefly. In fact, today, when any lawyer would talk to me and say, you know, the person concerned doesn't have locus standi, the person concerned cannot actually move a petition, doesn't have a legal right. So, in fact, my observation always in this score is that in today's world, the concept of locus standi has started losing significance because the entire intention of PILs was to allow any member of the public, in the interest of public, to move a petition, and therefore the dilution to that extent of the principle of locus standi, which is no longer as imperative and as mandatory as it used to be. The High Court can be moved for the interaction of any right. The Supreme Court can be moved for the violation of fundamental rights. The courts can issue any directions, orders, and or writs for the redressal of the grievances. This is Bandhuwa Mukti Morcha. And finally, the court could be moved by means of a letter. In fact, today you will find that in the COVID-19 days, if we may talk about not PILs alone, but of petitions, the Supreme Court has permitted letters and mails to this effect for the purposes of entertaining a petition because of the difficulties of social distancing and because of maintaining the social distancing. Since long, the Indian judiciary has been struggling to evolve a new jurisprudence. So this was ultimately evolved. Justice Bhagwati calls it the low visibility area of humanity, devised to effective judicial technique called public interest litigation for the dreams and to realize the dreams set forth in Part 3 and Part 4 of the Indian Constitution. Very briefly, if I may again discuss the reasons for PILs, there are two fronts of why PILs became significant. Of course, the basic contours I have set out of Justice Bhagwati's judgments and his observations in Justice Krishna Iyer's. But in addition, I would like to identify two basic thrusts before I go on to some of the other issues. The first approach for PILs was an approach towards strengthening the moral authority, base, and credibility of the judiciary amongst the Indian masses, which was largely eroded during the emergency period by the excessive intervention of the executive at that time in the matters of civil rights of people, which had become essential that people's rights are safeguarded after their erosion. Secondly, the judiciary, being the guardian of social devolution, sought its legitimate partnership in the governance of the state with the legislature and the executive. There is, of course, a vast change, and we will come to that later. In the initial years of its functioning, the Indian Supreme Court was a silent spectator of public interest jurisprudence. Public interest jurisprudence requires that assistance be rendered again at two levels. First, various interest groups be given an opportunity to shape public policy by participation in the decision-making process. So it is not as if people are removed from the arena. How to include the people, how to make it an inclusive situation for purposes of decision-making process, which requires a sensitive response and accountability to the public. The second is these groups should have an opportunity to present their case and to agitate the matter before the court of law. This, of course, then changed the Supreme Court from being a silent spectator to being an active participant in this situation. I now would like to just come to one broad front of this to say all these events and trends that emerged in the Indian judicial system paved the introduction of PIL, a system, as Justice V.R. Krishna describes, of quote-unquote judicial remedies for people's maladies. But is this the case? Is this where we are? Is this the target that we were seeking to achieve? Did we want that we should have docket explosions? Did we want that the time of the courts should be spent on PILs and the individual issues be put to sideline and not be able to be addressed by the courts because of the kind of time taken? And please understand that PILs are not only public interest in the sense of concerning public, they are extremely wide in their range. And the examination of PILs in itself takes possibly a lot more time in trying to effectively get to judicial remedies. the drain on the limited resources of the Indian judiciary. I mean, the time we already have a large number of arrears. Of course, COVID-19 has not helped. At the present point of time, the Supreme Court is only taking up very urgent matters, aside from possibly now recently, Supreme Court has said that family law matters and death penalty matters may be taken up, as well as curative petitions in the chambers. These are the recent developments of the judicial system. But nonetheless, the present point of time, we are constrained, and therefore, whether we should entertain PILs is one question that I would leave you to address after I have given my part of the story. The cracks in the PIL system, I think the worst position has been in PILs, the misutilization of the system by publicity oriented people, by interlopers, by busybodies, by wayfarers, by people who have commercial interests, oblique interests, malafides. I think that really sets the ball rolling against the entire interest of public interest litigation. And the final front, possibly here, would be interference in policy matters. I was just talking about the drawbacks of the PIL systems. And therefore, when PILs seek to challenge policy, and I will little later address specifically on policy issues during the COVID-19 times also, I think that is one of the greatest dangers to the system of checks and balances and the method of accountability of the government, which is a duly elected government, to run the administration and to make matters of policy, which it is best equipped to deal with. Coming to some of these issues a little further, publicity interest litigation, I think the identification of publicity interest litigation was in Balco Employees Union versus Union of India, where the Supreme Court held as follows: people with unscrupulous intentions and motives have now in their hands a very convenient tool to browbeat and exploit the system for personal gains. PILs have become a source of instant fame. Busybodies looking for their 15 minutes of fame have grossly undermined the well conceived mechanism for unholy goals. Some persons with vested interest indulge in the pastime of meddling with judicial process either by force of habit or from improper motives and try to bargain for a good deal as well as to enrich themselves. Often they are actuated by a desire to win notoriety or cheap popularity. The petitions of such busybodies deserve to be thrown out by rejection at the threshold and, in appropriate cases, with exemplary costs. This was also held in T. N. Godavaran versus Ashok Fort. Justice Vasayat and Ashok Kumar Pandey, which is roughly in 2004, described people who came forward with oblique motives as busybodies, meddlesome interlopers, wayfarers, or officious interveners who approach the courts with extraneous motivation or for glare of publicity should be avoided, which may be described as not public interest litigation, but publicity oriented litigation. In a recent public interest litigation filed for challenging IIT joint entrance examination results and to withhold the result, the same was rejected by Supreme Court by mentioning that the petitioner is more interested in publicity interest rather than public interest. The apex court described the act of the petitioner as a stunt and a publicity venture. The bench observed that there are three types of public interest litigations: as public interest litigation, private interest litigation, and publicity interest litigation. And so we have an entire series which came across, which included Rajiv Ranjan Singh, which included environmental cases, which included State of Himachal versus Umed Ram, which included campaign for judicial accountability and reforms, where the petitioner through his secretary approached for a writ of mandamus, asking for an SIT headed by a retired Chief Justice of India to investigate in the matter of alleged conspiracy and payment of bribes for procuring favorable order in a matter pending and to take consequential actions. There it was dismissed with costs of 25 lakhs. The Supreme Court observed the petition is not only wholly frivolous but contemptuous, unwarranted, aims at scandalizing the highest judicial system of the country without any reasonable basis, and filed in an irresponsible manner, that too by a body of persons professing to espouse the cause of accountability. What an irony of fate! The petitioner has itself forgotten its accountability, and filing of such petition may entail an ultimate debarment of such petitioners from filing so-called in public interest litigation, which in fact has caused more injury to cause of public than subserving it. In view of the foregoing discussion, We are of the considered view, and we are constrained to say, in the present petition in particular, the manner in which it has been pursued without any remorse by questioning the decision rendered on the subject matter by this court, including the plea taken in the earlier petition, as noted in paragraph 29, is gross abuse of the process of court. Therefore, it has to be dismissed with exemplary costs in order to ensure that such attempt is not repeated in future. There are so many cases by now in which the Supreme Court has imposed exemplary costs, which are to the tune of lakhs. And in fact, the attempt has been to try to discourage people and to prevent them from filing such frivolous, oblique, and malafide petitions. I could have actually dealt with some more of the cases, but they would be, in a sense, dealing with the same subject matter. So I would now like to come to the recently dismissed PILs, the recent observations of the Supreme Court in the current crisis of COVID-19. I think we come straight away to, I will outline for you three issues. Today, we are facing calamity, as I mentioned to you at the beginning of this talk. And at this point of time, everybody is struggling with odds against it, including the civil society, including the government, including agencies, including administration, including officers, including health workers. Policies are being evolved. There is no consistent policy because it is an inconsistent kind of position. It is a new position. It is something which is novel to us, and we do not exactly, we didn't have the wherewithal to be able to deal with this. At this point of time, if we have intervention by way of PILs, which are going to try to undo the process where we are achieving some success, I think we come against all odds there. So let me take firstly the petition before the Supreme Court, which took up a petition on a plea seeking free treatment of coronavirus infected patients. Here, a bench consisting of Justice Ramanna, Justice Sanjay Kaul, and Justice Gawai made strong observations on this plea. Government has to decide on who to give free treatment. We don't have any funds with us. I think this case should close. No need to raise any litigation like this. Government hospital treatment is free. No need to create public interest litigations, were remarks made by Justice Kaul. Earlier last week, a public interest litigation seeking nationalization of the healthcare sector and related services till the COVID pandemic is contained was rejected by the Supreme Court. Supreme Court again commented, this is not a decision the court can ask the government to take. We cannot order nationalization of hospitals. The government has already taken over some hospitals. This is a bench comprising of Justice Ashok Bhushan and Justice Bhatt on April 13th while hearing the main petition. Justice Bhushan further alluded to the prayer of nationalization as misconceived, and this petition was urged to be dismissed. Let us come to another petition which was filed in this COVID-19 times. Petition was filed seeking directions for payment of wages to migrant workers during COVID-19 induced lockdown. Solicitor General Tushar Mehta submitted that some people's social work was only confined to filing public interest litigation. And in this kind of exchanges, the top court was heard to say that such PILs should not be allowed to be filed by people while sitting in air-conditioned offices, and it is not a public service. Earlier last week, when a plea was filed by Swami Agnivesh seeking immediate relief to be provided to the poor during the coronavirus, which came up for hearing, Senior Advocate Colin Gonzalez, who appeared for Swami Agnivesh, submitted lockdown had created a huge crisis and there was no real groundwork being done. What the Solicitor General remarked at that point, I have serious reservations regarding this particular petition. These are self-employment generating petitions. The court should not entertain such petitions. I have severe problems regarding the kind of petitions that are pending before this court during these times. Again, another petition seeking exemption for face masks and hand sanitizers from GST. The bench observed that the petitioner was no expert on the issue and cannot determine prices and pulled up the petitioner for the nature of his request and warned that they would impose costs for filing such PILs, which waste the court's time. Earlier, a lawyer at Calcutta, a petition was filed, seeking government directions to all private hospitals, nursing homes, laboratories to reduce their charges for medical health care services for patients being treated with non-COVID-19 related ailments. So I think if we look at the entire perspective and we see the current crisis and we see the kind of energies that is being spent in a particular direction, such kind of dis-energies, I think, hardly serve the purpose, and on the contrary, in fact, affect the solemnity of the occasion. And to ensure such a position, I think we have to see that the drawbacks of the PIL system, the manner in which it has progressed, is something that should be covered and be limited. How do we limit this? Is by means of possibly costs, by means of examination of the threshold whether such petitions should be entertained, by limiting the kind of time that can be devoted to such PILs, by seeing the interest of the person. I think one of the maximum issues of PILs is to see the interest of the person and to see the interest of the people for whom the petition is addressed. It should be on behalf of the disadvantaged group, the oppressed group, a certain classified, determinate group of people who cannot come to court themselves, that such petitions should be moved at all. It is to fill in that vacuum that PILs were created for that section of people, and it should not go beyond that for interventionist policies by each and every person who thinks that he wants his day in the sun and he should be able to come forward. Having said this, I think we will have to also consider that we, as parts of the judicial system, as active members, which includes the lawyers, which includes judges, have to have self-restraint into this entire process so that we do not actually intervene in areas that do not require to be addressed at this level. Having said this, I will come to a conclusion here to say, while we discourage publicity-oriented petitions, as we might call them, oblique petitions, wayfarers petitions, busybodies petitions, meddlers petitions, there should be, of course, exercise of legitimate PIL activities, and possibly for that we need to continue to give some kind of protection to be given for them. For example, protected cost orders, legal aid, pro bono litigation, funding for PIL civil society, and amicus curiae briefs. We do need to add to the value of the justice system. So with this, I think I would like to conclude to say we need to be more than careful during this period of calamity. We do need to ensure that judicial time is preserved. We do need to ensure that justice is given to the disadvantaged in cases which require very urgent attention. We do require to see that all our resources are activated in a direction which can be decided today by the government, by the policymakers, by the health workers, by the people of civil society who are engaging in this entire exercise. And I think we have a new experience in hand which should teach us a lesson in which direction to proceed. Thank you very much.
As usual, ma'am, it was a pleasure hearing you. Ma'am, you took us from initiation of PILs from Justice Bhagwati's time to publicity interest litigation and to the PIL in present COVID times. You took us to the ways in which PILs can be limited. Now, ma'am, we have some questions from our viewers. One Mr. Virendra Pal, he says PIL का उपयोग सरकार के काम में व्यवधान के लिए सामान्य तौर पर किया जाता है. ऐसा आम जनता में धारणा बन गई है. कुछ लोग सरकार की अच्छी योजनाओं को रोकने के लिए इनका प्रयोग करते हैं. ये वीरेंद्र जी का क्वेश्चन है मैम, इसके बारे में आप क्या कहेंगे?
बिल्कुल सही कहते हैं कि देखिए आज की तारीख पे सब लोग सोचते हैं, क्योंकि एक सोच आ गई कि एक तरीका मिल गया है. एक कभी कभी लोगों की सोच पहले होता है कि कोई प्रोविजन नहीं है. जब कोई प्रोविजन या कोई समाधान सामने आता है तो लोगों को लगता है कि आज ये अवेलेबल है इसलिए मैं भी इसको इस्तेमाल करूं. लेकिन हर चीज का जो उपयोग है उसका जो दुरुपयोग है वो नहीं देखते. इसलिए जहां पर गवर्नमेंट पॉलिसी है, देखिए एक ये बात आज मान के चलिए कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट इंक्रीजिंगली, मैं सिर्फ कोविड-19 के समय की बात नहीं कर रही, पॉलिसी मैटर्स में बैल्को से लेकर 2002 से लेकर आज तक सुप्रीम कोर्ट का ये मानना है कि पॉलिसी मैटर्स में कोर्ट को इंटरवीन नहीं करना चाहिए. क्यों? क्योंकि कोर्ट्स जो है वो बनी है एक न्याय के सिस्टम को देने के लिए. लेकिन किस प्रकार से एक पॉलिसी बननी चाहिए, किस प्रकार से वो पॉलिसी इंप्लीमेंट होनी चाहिए, उसके दारोमदार, उसके स्टेक होल्डर्स इतने हैं, और उसके लिए करने के लिए गवर्नमेंट बनी इसलिए है कि वो एडमिनिस्टर करे, वो देखे फाइनेंसेस कितने चाहिए, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर कितना चाहिए, कितने लोगों को जा सकता है. आज की तारीख में मान लीजिए अगर किसी के कहने पर, जैसे फ्री हेल्थ केयर की बात हुई थी, क्या सुप्रीम कोर्ट इस बात में कह सकती है कि आप फ्री हेल्थ केयर सबको दे दीजिए? ये पॉलिसी मैटर्स हैं. इसमें शायद ऐसी कोई चीज पॉसिबल है ही नहीं, और तभी अपने आप भी सुप्रीम कोर्ट हमेशा पॉलिसी मैटर्स में इंटरवेंशन सही नहीं मानती। बहुत अनयूजुअल केसेस हैं, शायद 1 या 2 केसेस ही होंगे जहां पर सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने पॉलिसी मैटर्स में इंटरवीन किया है।
मैम अगला क्वेश्चन आता है रविंद्र सिंह कुशवाहा जी का। वो कहते हैं आपने यू हैव ऑलरेडी आंसर्ड दिस क्वेश्चन, बट ही सेज कि वेदर एनी लॉ शुड बी फ्रेम्ड फॉर इम्पोजिंग कॉस्ट ऑन फ्रिवलस पीआईएल्स। ही इज जनरल सेक्रेटरी फ्रॉम आंध्र।
देखिए, दोनों तरीके हैं। आज की तारीख में सुप्रीम कोर्ट और हाई कोर्ट्स, कई बार इलाहाबाद हाई कोर्ट ने भी पीछे किया, मध्य प्रदेश हाई कोर्ट ने भी किया, सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने भी किया है, कई केसेस में किया। सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने एक केस में तो पिटिशनर को बार कर दिया कि वो कोई फ्यूचर पीआईएल्स नहीं फाइल करेगा। तो कॉस्ट इंपोज करने के लिए जरूरी नहीं है कि कानून बने, लेकिन जरूर यह है कि गाइडलाइंस एक प्रॉपर तरीके से सेट कर दी जाए ताकि किसी भी व्यक्ति विशेष को पता हो कि अगर आज की तारीख में अगर आप पिटिशन डालते हैं, वैसे ये सिर्फ पब्लिक इंटरेस्ट लिटिगेशन के लिए नहीं है, ये जनरल लिटिगेशन के लिए भी एक अच्छा प्रावधान है कि आप कोई अगर फ्रिवलस पिटिशन, वेक्सेशियस पिटिशन, मैलिफाइड पिटिशन ऐसे ही डाल देते हैं, क्योंकि प्लीज मानकर चलिए कि लिटिगेशन जहां पर भी है उसमें किसी ना किसी का व्यक्ति का नुकसान होता है, उसमें उसका समय बर्बाद होता है, उसके पैसे खर्च होते हैं, उसकी सारी एनर्जीज उसमें चली जाती हैं, उसका कारोबार उसमें सफर करता है। इसलिए बाय एंड लार्ज ये एक चीज सोचने की है आज की तारीख में कि ना केवल पब्लिक इंटरेस्ट लिटिगेशन में, पर किसी भी लिटिगेशन में अगर कोई गलत पिटिशन डाली जाती है जो बाद में दिखती है या उस समय दिखती है, बेबुनियाद है, तो उसमें किस प्रकार का एक्शन लिया जा सकता है, ये आज पूरे हमारे इंडियन लीगल सिस्टम को सोचने की जरूरत है।
मैम ईशान जी का क्वेश्चन आप स्क्रीन पे आ रहा है। वो कहते हैं कि व्हाट शुड बी द टेस्ट टू डिटरमिन पब्लिक इंटरेस्ट लिटिगेशन इन अ पीआई, पब्लिक इंटरेस्ट इन अ पीआई।
देखिए, पब्लिक इंटरेस्ट का डिफाइन करने का जो तरीका है, मैं इस पे थोड़ा सा फर्दर जाऊंगी। सिर्फ एक पब्लिक इंटरेस्ट डिफाइन करने की बात नहीं है, देयर आर सेवरल इश्यूज जो आते हैं इसमें, लेकिन एक चीज जो है, आई थिंक वही वापस हम 1982 में जाते हैं जब ये सारे टेस्ट ले डाउन हुए थे। तो पब्लिक इंटरेस्ट का एक रीजन था, उसमें रीजन ये था कि जो डिसएडवांटेज हैं, जो वंचित लोग हैं, जो ओप्रेस्ड लोग हैं, जो पुअर लोग हैं, जो आगे नहीं आ सकते। आप अंडर ट्रायल बिजनेस की बात कर लीजिए, बॉन्डेड लेबर की बात कर लीजिए, महिलाएं जो प्रोटेक्टिव कस्टडी में हैं उनकी बात कर लीजिए, बच्चों की बात कर लीजिए जुवेनाइल जस्टिस में। ये कोई व्यक्ति विशेष या कोई ट्रांजैक्शन के ऊपर बेस नहीं था। सबसे पहले तो ये देखना चाहिए पब्लिक इंटरेस्ट लिटिगेशन में कि जो चीज मांगी जा रही है वो पब्लिक या कोई एक ग्रुप पब्लिक का जो लार्ज ग्रुप है, ऐसा ग्रुप जो अपने आप कोर्ट के आगे सामने नहीं आ सकता, उसके लिए है या नहीं है। दूसरा टेस्ट जो भी बात हुई थी कि पॉलिसी के ऊपर अगर हो तो उस पे पब्लिक इंटरेस्ट लिटिगेशन एंटरटेन नहीं होनी चाहिए, अनलेस कोई बहुत इमरजेंसी वाली या कोई ग्रेव एरर हो जिसमें जाने की कोशिश की जाए, तो वो अलग बात है। बट जनरली स्पीकिंग पॉलिसी मैटर्स पे नहीं होना चाहिए। जो व्यक्ति पिटिशन डाल रहा है उसका मोटिव क्या है, अगर उसका कमर्शियल इंटरेस्ट है, अगर उसका इस चीज में कोई पर्सनल इंटरेस्ट है, अगर सिर्फ वो चाहता है कि आज की तारीख में मेरा 10 जगह नाम आ जाएगा। एक चीज और जो पिटिशंस में होनी चाहिए, पिटिशन डालने के समय वो पिटिशन कोर्ट में आने से पहले उसके ऊपर एक पूरा व्याख्यान हर मीडियम पे आ जाता है, उसकी पूरी डिस्क्रिप्शन आ जाती है व्यक्ति विशेष के साथ। ये कहीं ना कहीं इसके ऊपर हमें रिस्ट्रेंट चाहिए, चाहे वो मीडिया की तरफ से हो, चाहे लॉ की तरफ से हो, चाहे कोर्ट के डिक्टेट की तरफ से हो। बट कहीं ना कहीं ये पब्लिसिटी ओरिएंटेड जो लिटिगेशंस हैं वो सबसे खतरनाक है, क्योंकि लोग सिर्फ एक विषय को रेज करना चाहते हैं अपने पर्सनल मोटिव के लिए एंड नॉट फॉर एनी बेनिफिट ऑफ पीपल। सो ये 3-4 अगर जो हम चीजें हैं अगर देख लेते हैं जो अल्टीमेटली कंसिडर करना। और एक मेरा और मानना है कि कहीं ना कहीं पीआईएल्स में एक प्रीलिमिनरी इन्वेस्टिगेशन जरूर होनी चाहिए। प्रीलिमिनरी इन्वेस्टिगेशन मतलब कि पहले जो पिटिशन आती है, हर पिटिशन एंटरटेन नहीं होनी चाहिए। पिटिशन में देखना चाहिए कि उसमें कितना दम है, उसमें कितनी चीज है जो आगे एंटरटेन हो या ना हो, क्योंकि एक बार ही पिटिशन जो एंटरटेन हो जाती है फिर उसका अपना रुख होता है, उसका अपना समय होता है। डॉकेट एक्सक्लूजन की बात करते करते, जुडिशियल टाइम की बात करते करते हम जो अपने जो एक्चुअल मुद्दे हैं वो खत्म नहीं कर पाते, तो हम पब्लिक इंटरेस्ट लिटिगेशन के नाम पर इतना समय व्यतीत ना करें। तो ये जो 3-4 टेस्ट हैं अगर हम अडॉप्ट कर लें तो शायद इसमें पब्लिक इंटरेस्ट लिटिगेशन वही पब्लिसिटी ओरिएंटेड लिटिगेशन से सीमित नहीं होगी, अपने तरीके से चलेगी जिस प्रकार से वो चलना चाहिए।
जी अर्चना जी का सवाल आता है मैडम, ये कहती है वेरी क्रिस्प लेक्चर डिटेलिंग क्रूशियल एस्पेक्ट्स रिलेटिंग टू पीआईएल। एक में मेहंदियान जी पूछते हैं whether excessive discouragement of PIL due to publicity stunt may not act as suppression of diffused right of plurality?
मेरा तो ये मानना है कि समय पेंडुलम है। कानून में एक पेंडुलम होता है, न्याय में पेंडुलम होता है। पहले एक डिसएडवांटेज होता है जो कुछ भी अवेलेबल नहीं है, फिर कुछ अवेलेबल होता है। जब वो अवेलेबल होता है तो उसमें कुछ एक दुरुपयोग की बात होती है, तो इसलिए पेंडुलम इस तरीके से स्विंग करता है। तो कहीं ना कहीं फिर उस मिसयूज के बाद उसकी कुछ लिमिटेशन और रिस्ट्रेंट आती है, लेकिन पेंडुलम सेट्स बैक टू द मिडिल पोजीशन विच इज अ फेयर पोजीशन। तो इसलिए सप्रेशन की बात कहना और इस माध्यम से गलत पीआईएल्स को एंटरटेन करने की बात करना, वो भी अपने आप में शायद एक एक्सेप्टेबल चीज नहीं होगी। हमें जरूर ये देखना है कि लोगों को जो डिसएडवांटेज सेक्शंस को उनको कुछ बेनिफिट मिले, लेकिन उनके नाम के ऊपर अगर कोई भी पीआईएल डाल के, अब मैं बार बार इसी जैसे हेल्थ केयर की बात है, क्या देश में फ्री हेल्थ केयर हो सकता है? जितना हो रहा है उसके बियॉन्ड हो सकता है? यही क्वेश्चंस आज की तारीख में हम लोगों को एड्रेस करने हैं।
जी, एक मैम दीपक शर्मा, विवेक बिवालकर जी का सवाल है, कैन कमिटी ऑफ रिटायर्ड जजेस बी फॉर्म टू स्क्रूटनाइज द पिटीशन वेदर इट इज वर्थ ट्राइंग? दिस इज व्हाट ही सेज।
इट्स अ वेरी गुड सजेशन। मैं तो पहले ही कहती कि स्क्रूटिनी की एक जरूरत है एट द थ्रेशोल्ड इटसेल्फ, इससे पहले कि वो पिटीशन एंटरटेन होकर एक कंटिन्यूअम लिटिगेशन प्रोसेस बन जाए। तो विवेक जी का बहुत अच्छा सुझाव है। ये सुझाव हम आगे जरूर पेश करेंगे कि रिटायर्ड जजेस की कमेटी हो जो स्क्रूटनाइज करे पीआईएल्स को, whether they should be entertained or not। एक बहुत अच्छा माध्यम रहेगा।
मैम दीपक शर्मा जी कहते हैं, मैम डू PILs promote judicial activism and causes interference of judiciary in executive and legislature? So
बड़ा ट्रिकी क्वेश्चन है मुकुल जी। अपने आप में एक बात तो सही है, जुडिशियल एक्टिविज्म प्रमोट करती है। मैं पहले सिर्फ इस बात पे एड्रेस करूंगी, बट जुडिशियल एक्टिविज्म अपने आप में एक गलत चीज नहीं है, एक यूजफुल टूल है। जुडिशियल एक्टिविज्म की कई जगह जरूरत है। क्वेश्चन सिर्फ तब आता है कि किस लेवल तक जरूरत है और कहाँ तक कोर्ट्स को जाना चाहिए और कहाँ पे वो इंटरफेरेंस हो जाती है। वही चेक्स एंड बैलेंसेस का क्वेश्चन हमें एड्रेस करने का आई थिंक दायित्व हमारे ऊपर है। बट जुडिशियल एक्टिविज्म जरूरत है, कई जगह जरूरत है, और कई मुद्दों पर आप फॉर एग्जांपल देख लीजिए, भंवरी देवी का केस देख लीजिए जहां पर बुक के ऊपर हुआ था, आप विशाखा गाइडलाइंस देख लीजिए। लेकिन वो ऐसे विषयों पे हुए थे जो पब्लिक को कंसर्न करते थे एट लार्ज, जहां पर पूरी वायलेंस और अत्याचार हो रहा था, जहां पर कोई कानून नहीं था। इसलिए शायद विशाखा का केस सबसे आउटस्टैंडिंग लगता है जुडिशियल एक्टिविज्म में, जहां पर कानून की अनुपस्थिति में सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने गाइडलाइंस बनाई। एक और चीज में सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने जब पीछे बनाई गाइडलाइंस मोटर एक्सीडेंट केसेस में, गुड सैमरिटन गाइडलाइंस, कि किस प्रकार से सिटीजन नागरिक को बिहेव करना चाहिए, क्योंकि उसके लिए भी कोई स्पेसिफिक प्रोविजन नहीं थी। इसी प्रकार ऑनर किलिंग में जिस प्रकार से सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने गाइडलाइंस करी, वो अपने आप में बहुत मान्य नहीं थी। जुडिशियल एक्टिविज्म अपने आप में जरूरी है, समय समय पर जरूरत पड़ती है कि हाथ पकड़ के समाज में आगे ले जाया जाए, जहां पर एक कारण से या दूसरे कारण से हम लोग आगे नहीं कुछ कर पाए। तो इसलिए इन सिचुएशंस में जुडिशरी का जो एक्टिविज्म का काम है वहां पर बहुत जरूरी है। इसलिए मैं इसको मानकर चलूंगी कि ये नहीं कहा जा सकता कि जुडिशियल एक्टिविज्म अपने आप में खराब है। जुडिशियल एक्टिविज्म जरूरी है, लेकिन रिस्ट्रेंट, आई थिंक आज के पूरे टॉक में मुकुल, सेल्फ रिस्ट्रेंट इज अ वेरी बिग थिंग इन ऑल दीज थिंग्स। ये सेल्फ रिस्ट्रेंट हर कोई कैसे करे, एक व्यक्ति विशेष कैसे करे, एक पिटिशनर कैसे करे, एक पीआईएल एक्टिविस्ट कैसे करे, कोर्ट्स कैसे करे, लॉयर्स कैसे करे, और लॉयर्स की भी बहुत जरूरत है अपने आप को यहाँ रोकने की। वी आर लायबल, वी आर वन ऑफ द मोस्ट एक्टिव पीपल इन द सिस्टम, इन द लीगल सिस्टम। Lawyers as professionals have so much to contribute. We also are answerable as to why we will do any case. अब एथिक्स में तो जरूर कहा जाता है कि a lawyer should take up any case, but should we do every case that comes along our way, or should we actually look into a fact and say, you know, this kind of cases are against public interest? So I think these are the self-restraint situation मीडिया के लिए। अब मीडिया के लिए देखिए, हमेशा ये बात की जाती है, there should not be external controls, let there be self-restraint within the system.
Yes, yeah, true, ma'am. And then Ridhima Gaur, she says, can PILs be time bound, as sometimes it takes too long to decide and the issue lost its object? This is what usually happens, ma'am.
No, I'll go even more. Ridhima's question is so relevant. It's not only a question of time bound. The second part is even more relevant. that it takes
Yeah.
too long and the issue loses its object.
Yeah,
पिटिशन
yeah.
डाली एक चीज पे जाती है, अब मान लीजिए उसमें कुछ दम भी है, वो एंटरटेन होती है, वेरी गुड, बट उसके बाद द फोकस स्टार्ट्स वाइडनिंग, द कंटूर्स ऑफ दैट डिस्प्यूट स्टार्ट्स वाइडनिंग, एंड सडनली आप जाना था जापान पहुंच गए, चीन वैरायटी जो जो बात है वो हो जाती है। वैसे गाना आज के संदर्भ में बहुत अच्छा नहीं है,
Yes, sir.
नॉनदलेस होता तो यही है कि आप एक विषय को एड्रेस करिए। अच्छा प्लीज ये मुझे समझाइए, आई एज अ लॉयर आल्सो, मुझे आई फेस्ड इट इन 2-3 केसेस, इशू रेज हुआ रिगार्डिंग वन पर्टिकुलर प्रोजेक्ट, एंड उस प्रोजेक्ट की बात करते करते उसमें 4 मान लीजिए इश्यूज रेज हुए थे, एक्चुअली हुए भी थे, अभी चल भी रहा है केस, लेकिन उसके बाद वो 4 विषयों को छोड़ के जब वो 4 विषय सेटिस्फाई हो गए, मतलब वो भी गलत थे लेकिन रेज किए गए थे, उसके बाद वो 4 विषयों को लेकर अगले 6 इश्यूज पे हुआ, कोई प्लीडिंग्स नहीं है उसमें, कोई अवर्मेंट नहीं है, सिर्फ ओरली उन एडिशंस को करा जा रहा है। तो यहाँ पर मेरे हिसाब से वी नीड टू हैव सम मॉनिटरिंग सिस्टम टू इंश्योर, देखिए यूज ऑफ लॉ is it is necessary to ensure that all pleadings are in order. You have a right which you know which you are addressing. एक इशू आपने एड्रेस किया, आई नो हाउ टू आंसर, मुकुल ने मेरे से क्वेश्चन पूछा, मैंने उसका जवाब दिया, अगर कोई इशू ही नहीं होगा तो मैं किस पे बहस करूंगी, दूसरा कुछ भी कह देगा कोर्ट में, मैं कुछ भी कह दूंगी, हाउ डज इट गो फर्दर? सो यू नीड टू एक्चुअली अडॉप्ट अ सिस्टम वेयर देयर शुड बी स्ट्रिक्टनेस, ईदर some kind of judicial noting of the observations pleadings made, and there should be accountability कि आज मैंने करा है, आप एक पिटिशन डालते हैं, that is supported by an affidavit, that is not support, that is done otherwise, उसके बावजूद भी कई चीजें होती हैं, वो अलग बात है, but we have to ensure that pleadings are put on record and pleadings are confined to what they are made and their contours are not widened midstream. आप बहस खत्म कर ली उस समय कुछ और चीज रेज हो जाए, ये शायद इस बात बिल्कुल नहीं।
Kanchan Yadav ji कहते हैं, there are some lawyers who keep filing PILs without much preparation. Do you think a badly prepared petition is injustice to others as it may act as res judicata for fresh petitions on the subject?
इन्होंने क्वेश्चन कंचन ने कुछ और पूछा है, मैं जवाब कुछ और देना चाहूंगा।
Okay.
मेरे हिसाब से बैडली प्रिपेयर्ड पिटिशन बिल्कुल इनजस्टिस है, इस बात में पूरी सहमत हूं, मुझे रेस जुडिकेटर का इतनी चिंता नहीं है, लेकिन 2 बातें हैं, आज की डेट में कोई विषय आता है तो अगर आप अगले दिन की अखबार देख लेंगे या सोशल मीडिया पे देख लेंगे या किसी भी साइट पे देख लेंगे, तो वो पिटिशन के ऊपर 5 से 10 पिटिशंस तैयार आपको 1 या 2 दिन में आगे मिल जाएंगी। पिटिशन जली होती है, उसके साथ साथ पिटिशंस टैग होती हैं, पिटिशंस और डाल दी जाती हैं, वो पर जब मैटर सुनवाई के लिए आता है कोर्ट में, उस समय कहा जाता है कि मेरी सिर्फ टैगिंग नहीं होनी चाहिए, मेरी पिटिशन की सुनवाई होनी चाहिए। उसके अलावा वी हैव whether you call them interlopers और interventionists, वो भी सिचुएशन इम्प्लीटमेंट की भी सेवरल एप्लीकेशंस आ जाती हैं, इतना वाइड। अब कभी-कभी कोर्ट में मतलब 100-150, वो कोविड-19 के अलावा मैं बात कर रही हूँ, नॉर्मल टाइम्स के अंदर भी, जहाँ एक पब्लिक इंटरेस्ट लिटिगेशन में जो सेवरल लिंकेजेस हैं, एज यू टॉक अबाउट डिजिटल लिंक्स, वहाँ लिंक्स ही लिंक्स है, बढ़ते जा रहे हैं, कोई इस पे कंट्रोल नहीं है। हाउ डू यू मैनेज दैट सिस्टम? सो अगेन एज आई सेड, आप आज की डेट में हम लोग बात भी कर रहे हैं अबाउट रिटन सबमिशंस, अबाउट लिमिटिंग आवर टाइम इन टर्म्स ऑफ कोर्ट। I think we have to identify the issues in any PIL also, and to limit and restrict people to that, and definitely to ensure that everybody doesn't have a right. There should be no automatic right to address.
Yeah, that is true, ma'am. And then Vicky Sikarwar says, can we say that in the democratic parlance, PIL is necessary evil?
Vicky, not only in a democratic parlance, in a social democratic setup, in a system such as our country is, I think it is a necessary requirement. I won't say it's a necessary evil, because evil makes you think on the contrary, on the wrong side. But having said that, I ultimately feel that things and tools are essential. If you have to remedy wrongs, you need to have them in place. The only question which remains today is, what is good should not turn evil. What is evil should not be allowed to perpetuate itself. We must limit and restrain those evil PILs, as you call them, and ensure that they can't take the system on the wrong way.
And then Ritvik Sahaji says, we cannot pull up this question, but he says that if the court do not restrict the free flow of cases in the fake PILs, traditional litigation will suffer a lot, and that would be a loss to the Indian democracy and to the entire judicial process.
No, you're right. It's not only Indian democracy, Mukul. The point is litigation systems which were set up, or dispute resolution systems which have been set up, deal with particular disputes and particular individuals or group of individuals. which are actually party to party or party against party, A against B and B against C, which a court would determine. So definitely public interest litigations or the volume of public interest litigations is something that does put private litigation on a back burner. And we've already have enough on the plate. So we do have to consider how much judicial time we can devote to such issues, but I'm afraid there is no numbers that you can allocate. There's possibly no time allocation also. We will have to find a solution. So as I said, some kind of scrutiny, some kind of limiting of the issues on which PILs, when taken up also, when they are entertained, should be confined. Some time limit issues which we have to consider as lawyers today and as part of the judicial system. Each of these are issues that we need to look into.
मैम अगेन दीपक जी का एक सवाल आता है, वो कहते हैं मैम डू PIL सजेस्ट फेलियर ऑफ एग्जीक्यूटिव एंड लेजिस्लेटिव डायरेक्टिव is though he has already asked a similar question already. It's the same.
Deepak, we've already said, you're right, Mukund. The idea is more of partnership, as we mentioned. Two of the criteria of courts wanting to have some participation and giving participation to people who want a voice to be heard.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. You've answered our questions very crisply, ma'am. The lecture was really enlightening for all of us. Thank you again, ma'am. And ma'am, I'm joined by my members from Akhil Bharatiya Adhivakta Parishad, who were kind enough to provide backroom support for this broadcast. Tomorrow we will be joined by Mr. Rakesh Dwivedi, Senior Advocate, a popular and a prominent face of bar. We look forward to have you all join us. Same time, same place tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Stay safe. We request you to follow all government advisories and please donate to PM Cares Fund. We request you to follow Adhivakta Parishad on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Hope you all enjoyed this broadcast today. We at Adhivakta Parishad look forward to seeing you tomorrow evening. Once again, Namaskar.
Namaskar.
Namaskar.